Hi friends, it is Diamond. It is Friday the 26th of June, and I am here just sharing some insights related to my devotion for today, which is talking about the fact that the cause of Christ is greater than our comfort. And this week, the Lord has had me in 1 Peter. I am in chapter 4, starting at verse 12. And this is my beautiful journaling Bible. It is the Message, and it says this: Friends, when life gets really difficult, don't jump to the conclusion that God isn't on the job. Instead, be glad that you are in the very thick of what Christ experienced. This is a spiritual refining process with glory just around the corner. If you're abused because of Christ, count yourself fortunate. It's the Spirit of God and His glory in you that brought you to the notice of others. If they're on you because you broke the law or disturbed the peace, that's a different matter. But if it's because you're a Christian, don't give it a second thought. Be proud of the distinguished status reflected in the name. It's judgment time for God's own family. We are first in line. If it starts with us, think what it's going to be like for those who refuse God's message. If good people barely make it, what's in store for the bad? So if you find life difficult because you're doing what God said, take it in stride. Trust Him. He knows what He's doing, and He'll keep on doing it. You guys, I had been living my life in some bubble where I thought that because I was a Christian and because I had suffered in some earlier years of life, what I felt like was tremendously, that God owed me some kind of stress-free, problem-free life from here on out. That it was His duty now to ensure that I was living my best life, comfort-filled, joy-filled, and problem-free. And in pressing into my purpose and my calling and understanding really what we are called to as Christians, suffering is a part of the call. We're not immune from it. It is actually a specification of our duty, of our job title. And we're called to count it joy, right? It's not just that you're going to suffer. It's that you should be glad in your suffering. You should be proud in your suffering because you're taking on the cause of Christ. And so we have to adopt God's mindset, kind of piggybacking off what I shared last week. In having God's heart, we also have to adopt His mindset that suffering is a part of this walk. Christ suffered immensely for us. We will never suffer the way that He did. You know, if the things that we call suffering were put against the things that Christ went through, they would pale in comparison. Nonetheless, the things that God has us here on this earth to do, the things that we endure as we take a stance for what is right as Christians, as believers, as we speak the truth, as we share the word, as we are bold in our declarations of our faith, we will be disliked, we will be persecuted, we will be talked about, we will lose followers, we will lose friends, we will have family think of us differently, we will endure so many things. And if you all, are familiar with Revelation, there are trials and tribulations to come. It gets heavy, it gets deep, it gets dark, and we have to be armed and prepared to endure, knowing that we are filled with a Holy Spirit who empowers us to endure all of it. That He never would bring us to something that He hasn't empowered us to go through. So we need to get rid of this mindset that suffering is not for us. Understand that it is. Embrace it, but understand what it's doing. It's refining us. It is taking out those things that are not like Christ and making us more like Him. It is not a comfortable process. Let me tell you, as I have spent time in the presence of God and really allowed Him to show me myself, I've seen some really ugly things that I did not like. I have felt some pain and just experienced some things that felt uncomfortable. But the ultimate goal is for us to be more like Him, so that when the world sees us, they see Him. When the world encounters us, they should be encountering Christ. So we go through things that refine us and give us more of His character, more of His nature, more of His heart, more of His mind, more of His characteristics. So be encouraged. If you're going through hard things, God doesn't hate you. He's not punishing you. He's not mad at you. He is teaching you and growing you and maturing you and building you up and refining you to take you to new levels, to take you to new places, to give you greater authority, to give you deeper understanding, so that you can be who you need to be for what He's called you to do. I love you guys. Be encouraged.